On the humid morning of September 23, 2015, Gulf Coast Marine Adventure Park in Biloxi, Mississippi, buzzed with anticipation as it prepared for another day of captivating performances. The newly renovated 5,000-seat stadium was nearly full, packed with tourists seeking relief from the late summer heat, eager to witness the park's star attraction. Little did they know they were about to witness one of the most horrific incidents in marine park history, a tragedy that would leave an indelible mark on the industry and raise serious questions about the ethics of keeping orcas in captivity. Gulf Coast Marine Adventure Park, founded in 2001 by Dr. James Henderson, a former marine biologist with a passion for ocean conservation, began as a modest rehabilitation center. Its mission was simple: to rescue and rehabilitate injured marine animals, providing them a safe haven for recovery. Over the years, however, the park underwent a dramatic transformation. By 2015, it had evolved into one of the Southeast's premier marine attractions, drawing thousands of visitors annually with its dazzling shows and interactive exhibits. The park's crown jewel was Nova, a 20-foot female orca captured in the icy waters off Russia in 2008. Weighing 500 pounds, Nova was smaller than many performing orcas, but her agility, intelligence, and captivating presence made her shows uniquely spectacular. Visitors marveled at her graceful leaps, precise spins, and engaging interactions, which became the heart of the park's success. At the center of Nova's story was Savannah Calloway, a 31-year-old trainer whose journey into marine mammal care was rooted in a lifelong love for the ocean. Growing up in coastal Alabama, Savannah's childhood was filled with memories of the sea. As a young girl, she spent countless hours volunteering at local rescue centers, often staying late into the night to comfort injured seals, dolphins, and other marine creatures. Her gentle touch and genuine compassion set her apart, earning her the admiration of colleagues and the trust of the animals she cared for. This empathy guided her academic path, leading her to pursue a master's degree in marine mammal science at the University of Miami, where she honed her understanding of animal behavior and welfare. In 2010, Savannah joined Gulf Coast Marine Adventure Park's apprentice program, quickly rising through the ranks. Her innovative training techniques, keen attention to each animal's unique signals, and unwavering kindness earned her a reputation as a gifted trainer and a deeply caring soul. By 2015, she had become Nova's primary trainer, forming a bond that seemed unbreakable. Savannah's logs were filled with detailed observations, noting the orca's moods, preferences, and subtle behavioral cues. Colleagues often remarked on her ability to read Nova, anticipating the orca's needs and adjusting training sessions accordingly. Her dedication was evident in every interaction, and she became a beloved figure at the park, admired by staff and visitors alike. However, by early 2015, troubling patterns began to emerge in Nova's behavior, casting a shadow over the park's success. Dr. Rebecca Simpson, the park's lead veterinarian, meticulously documented a series of concerning changes. Nova started exhibiting stereotypic behaviors, repetitive swimming patterns that circled the tank in predictable loops, a sign of stress or boredom often seen in captive animals. During night hours, she emitted unusual vocalizations, a mix of high-pitched whistles and clicks that puzzled even the most experienced staff. Meal refusals became more frequent, and Nova began displaying aggressive posturing toward junior trainers, her massive body tensing in ways that hinted at discomfort or agitation. She also showed increasing resistance to basic commands, a stark contrast to the flawless performances she had delivered for years. In March 2015, Nova had her first serious incident. During a routine exercise, she pinned a junior trainer against the pool wall, her 8,500-pound frame pressing against the young staff member with alarming force. Though no injuries occurred, the incident was a critical warning sign. Savannah, ever vigilant, recorded the event in her log, noting the potential for danger and urging caution. She wrote, "Nova's behavior today was unprecedented. We must monitor her closely and reconsider our approach." By summer, the Orca's unpredictability escalated. She ignored recall signals, swam erratic patterns during performances, and produced unusual vocalizations that veteran trainers with decades of experience had never heard before. Savannah grew increasingly concerned, raising the issue in multiple staff meetings. Her log entry from September 15, 2015, painted a vivid picture of Nova's deteriorating state: erratic eye tracking during sessions, refusal of basic commands, and more frequent aggressive displays. This morning, Nova charged the underwater viewing window, something she's never done. We cannot ignore these signs. Despite Savannah's repeated warnings, park management faced intense pressure to maintain attendance numbers during the crucial late summer tourist season. The park's financial success depended on packed shows, and Nova was the star attraction. Management dismissed the concerns, insisting the performances continue as scheduled. They argued that Savannah's bond with Nova and her exceptional skills as a trainer would mitigate any risks. Internal documents later revealed a pattern of ignored warnings, with staff concerns brushed aside in favor of profit. Adding to the tension, maintenance records showed that on the night of September 22, 2015, the tank's sophisticated filtration system malfunctioned, disrupting the careful balance of water quality. The chemical imbalance, though subtle, likely heightened Nova's stress, pushing an already unstable animal closer to the edge. The morning of September 23, 2015, carried an unusual tension. Night shift trainer Derek Foster, with 8 years of experience working with marine mammals, reported that Nova had been restless, emitting a series of high-pitched whistles and clicks throughout the night. "I've never heard her make those sounds before," he noted in his report, his unease palpable. The malfunctioning filtration system, discovered later, had gone unrepaired, further destabilizing the tank environment. As the clock struck 11:15 a.m., Savannah stepped onto the performance stage, the upbeat show music echoing through the stadium. A crowd of 4,300 visitors cheered as she introduced Nova, the Orca's sleek black and white form gliding into the pool. But from the start, something was off. Nova circled the perimeter 3 times, a behavior reminiscent of her early training days when she was still adjusting to captivity. It was a subtle but telling sign of unease, one that Savannah and the veteran staff noticed immediately. The first half of the performance proceeded with mounting tension. Nova executed her standard repertoire leaps, spins, and splashes, but each move seemed forced, her movements lacking the usual fluidity. During a routine back float, Nova suddenly snapped her jaws, a sharp, unexpected action that startled junior trainer Maria Delgado. Maria radioed a warning to Savannah, her voice urgent. "Something's not right with Nova. Be careful." But in the chaos of the show, with music blaring and the crowd cheering, the message was misunderstood as a technical issue with the sound system. The critical moment arrived during the show's signature sequence, the hurricane ride. In this complex maneuver, Savannah would ride on Nova's rostrum as the orca performed rapid spins before launching vertically out of the water. It was a crowd favorite, a testament to the trust and coordination between trainer and animal. As they began the sequence, Nova's body language shifted dramatically. Her echolocation clicks grew rapid and intense, audible even over the show's music, a sign of agitation or focus. Instead of the planned gentle spin, Nova accelerated, her massive body twisting violently to the left. The force was catastrophic, hurling Savannah 15 feet across the tank before she could activate her emergency flotation device. In an instant, Nova was upon her, the orca's jaws, capable of generating over 19 zeros, 0 pounds of force, clamped down on Savannah's torso. The crowd's cheers turned to screams as Nova thrashed her head side to side, a movement eerily similar to how wild orcas tear apart seals. The water, normally crystal clear, began to cloud with blood, a grim testament to the severity of the attack. Panic threatened to engulf the stadium, but the park's emergency loudspeaker blared instructions: remain calm and follow staff guidance. Security personnel stationed at each aisle signaled sections of the audience to begin a controlled evacuation, while others were asked to remain seated to allow paramedics unobstructed access. The pool, families huddled together, parents shielding children from the grisly scene, tears and gasps rippling through the stands. Park employees repeated pleas for order, knowing a chaotic rush for the exits would hinder rescue efforts. Inside the pool, the situation grew dire. Unlike previous orca incidents, where animals typically release trainers after initial contact, Nova's attack was relentless and methodical. She dragged Savannah to the bottom of the 35-foot tank, holding her under for increasingly longer intervals. During brief surfacings, Nova tossed Savannah into the air, catching her again with predatory precision, a hunting technique documented in wild orcas. The water clouded further as Nova's powerful teeth inflicted catastrophic damage. She ignored emergency recall signals, buckets of food thrown into the water, and high-pitched underwater tones designed to disorient orcas in emergencies. At one point, Nova pinned Savannah against the underwater viewing window, giving horrified spectators a close-up view of the attack, a moment that would haunt them forever. Assistant trainer Miguel Rodriguez attempted to deploy the emergency net system, but the mechanism jammed, a critical failure at the worst possible time. Senior trainer Lisa Cooper activated the underwater recall tones, hoping to lure Nova to a separate medical pool, but the orca appeared locked in a behavioral state experts later termed behavioral lockdown, completely unresponsive to external stimuli. After 7 agonizing minutes, the emergency response team managed to separate Nova from Savannah using a specialized pole system. Paramedics rushed to the scene, but the damage was done. At 11:47 a.m., Savannah was pronounced dead, the immediate causes listed as massive trauma and drowning. Her body bore the marks of Nova's relentless attack: broken bones, torn flesh, and internal injuries that no one could have survived. The crowd, now partially evacuated, stood in stunned silence, the festive atmosphere replaced by grief and shock. The investigation that followed revealed a complex web of ignored warnings, systemic failures. Savannah had diligently documented Nova's concerning behavior, filling her logs with detailed accounts of the orca's stress signals: repetitive swimming, unusual vocalizations, meal refusals, aggressive displays. Yet, like many experienced trainers, she fell victim to a common pitfall: overconfidence in her bond with Nova. Despite her own written concerns, Savannah trusted in their 5-year relationship, believing her skill and connection could manage the orca's instability. Other senior trainers, too, had witnessed Nova's deterioration but remained silent, torn between professional obligation and concern for their colleague. Internal documents exposed a pattern of dismissed reports, with management prioritizing attendance numbers over animal welfare. The filtration system malfunction, discovered after the incident, appeared to be the final trigger, exacerbating Nova's already fragile state. The park faced severe consequences. Multiple safety violations were cited, particularly management's decision to continue performances despite clear red flags. Insurance costs skyrocketed, and attendance plummeted as news of the tragedy spread. By early 2016, Gulf Coast Marine Adventure Park announced its permanent closure, unable to recover from the financial and reputational damage. Nova was transferred to a larger facility with stricter protocols for animal behavior assessment. She never performed with trainers in the water again, living out her years in a more regulated environment. Savannah's death became a stark reminder of the dangers of working with powerful predators. No bond, no matter how strong, could override the unpredictable nature of an orca under stress. Her story underscored the critical need to recognize behavioral warnings and the risks of overconfidence, a lesson the industry could no longer ignore. On the other side of the world, another tragedy unfolded, driven by an ambitious but misguided attempt to innovate. On December 8, 2013, Kamigawa SeaWorld in Chiba Prefecture, Japan, prepared for its afternoon winter showcase. The crisp winter air carried the scent of the Pacific Ocean as visitors gathered early, eager to witness what the park billed as a groundbreaking demonstration of interspecies cooperation, dolphins and orcas performing together. But what began as a bold experiment would end in a tragic reminder of nature's unpredictable power. Robert Wilson, a 45-year-old senior trainer, stood at the edge of the main pool, reviewing his notes from the morning session. His journey to Kamigawa was unconventional. Originally a veterinary surgeon in Australia, Robert spent 12 years treating injured marine mammals, growing frustrated with merely addressing the aftermath of incidents rather than preventing them. In 2008, while working at Australia's Marine World, he treated 3 critically injured dolphins, developing innovative rehabilitation techniques that blended medical care with behavioral modification. His success caught the attention of Kamigawa SeaWorld, which sought his unique blend of medical and behavioral expertise for their expanding marine mammal program. Moving to Japan in 2010, Robert immersed himself in the culture, learning Japanese and completing the facility's rigorous certification program. By 2013, he was one of only 3 Western trainers at Kamigawa, respected for his methodical approach and ability to bridge Eastern and Western training philosophies. Colleagues admired his attention to detail, often consulting him on complex behavioral issues. His logs were meticulous, filled with observations about animal stress, social dynamics, and subtle cues that others might overlook. Kamigawa SeaWorld, opened in 1970, began as a modest facility focused on dolphin rehabilitation and research. In 2005, the park expanded, acquiring Kaya, an 18-foot female orca from a European facility. As the park's only orca, Kaya was housed in an enclosure adjacent to the dolphin pools, a necessity due to space constraints. Over time, management noticed Kaya's apparent tolerance of the neighboring dolphins during separation training sessions. By 2012, facing competition from larger marine parks, the park's leadership began exploring mixed species performances, hoping to offer something unprecedented in Asian marine entertainment. They cited successful examples of different dolphin species performing together and pointed to Kaya's calm demeanor as evidence of feasibility, despite concerns from some staff. Robert initially supported the program's careful development, believing controlled interactions could be educational. But as training progressed, he grew wary. His experience made him attuned to subtle stress indicators, changes in Kaya's swimming patterns, increased vocalizations, and slight shifts in posture. The introduction of a new male dolphin, Mizu, in November 2013, further complicated the dynamics. Robert's logs noted Kaya's increasingly territorial behavior during joint sessions, with the orca circling the pool more aggressively when Mizu was present. On the morning of December 8, he filed a formal report, writing, "Kaya's behavior suggests stress and territoriality. I recommend suspending the mixed species program for further evaluation." With a sold-out holiday season looming, management opted to continue implementing modified safety protocols instead. At 2:15 p.m., as visitors filled the stadium, Robert watched Kaya swim in erratic patterns, her movements sharp and unpredictable. The show began at 2:30 with Kaya and 3 Pacific white-sided dolphins performing choreographed routines. The audience marveled as the massive orca moved alongside the smaller cetaceans, unaware of the tension brewing beneath the surface. 20 minutes in, disaster struck. Mizu deviated slightly from his assigned position, entering Kaya's established performance area. The orca's response was swift and intense. Years of isolation, combined with territorial instincts, triggered an aggressive reaction no training could override. Robert, recognizing the danger, initiated emergency separation procedures, signaling the dolphins to return to their holding pool. But before they could retreat, Kaya charged toward Mizu. Robert positioned himself to redirect the dolphin, a standard protective maneuver. This time, however, Kaya's trajectory shifted. In a split second, she struck, knocking Robert from the platform into the 59-degree water. Before he could activate his emergency signaling device, Kaya seized him in her jaws, crushing his torso. The audience's gasps turned to screams as blood clouded the water. Support staff rushed to emergency positions, but Kaya's erratic movements made rescue nets impossible to deploy. The presence of panicked dolphins in the pool intensified her aggression, complicating efforts further. For 3 horrifying minutes, Kaya dragged Robert under, surfacing only to shake him before submerging again. Between attacks, he tried issuing control commands in English and Japanese, his training instincts persisting even as his strength faded. The rapid response team struggled, lacking protocols for simultaneous orca and dolphin emergencies. At 2:53 p.m., Kaya pinned Robert against the acrylic viewing window, his body limp. Rescue divers reached him, but his emergency vest was torn away and he was unresponsive. Despite CPR, Robert was pronounced dead at Kagawa General Hospital at 3:47 p.m. The investigation revealed a lethal combination of factors: Kaya's isolation, territorial instincts, and the stress of mixed species performances. The innovative practice had failed to account for fundamental orca behavior, a costly oversight. Kamigawa SeaWorld suspended the program immediately, and Kaya was transferred to a specialized research facility in Nagoya. The park returned to separate species performances, implementing new safety measures that influenced marine parks across Asia. Robert's death spurred global change. The Japan Association of Marine Parks and Aquariums developed strict guidelines prohibiting mixed species performances with orcas, a standard adopted worldwide. His background in veterinary medicine and training shaped new protocols for assessing behavioral risks. Beyond his professional legacy, Robert was remembered for his compassion volunteering at animal shelters, organizing beach cleanups, and hosting free veterinary workshops for underfunded wildlife initiatives. His story remains a case study in training programs, highlighting the dangers of prioritizing innovation over safety. Our final story is the most shocking yet, the first recorded orca attack involving 2 trainers at once, a tragedy that should convince you, our viewers, that orca shows must be banned for good. On March 15, 2007, Mediterranean Marine World in Valencia, Spain, began as a milestone day, debuting a new duo routine. By day's end, it would be marked by a tragedy that reshaped the industry. Founded in 1995 by marine biologist Dr. Antonio Ruiz, Mediterranean Marine World started as a humble rehabilitation center for sea turtles and dolphins along Spain's eastern coast. By 2000, it expanded into public education and performances, building a reputation for excellence. Its 8 million-gallon orca habitat, with underwater viewing galleries and a 4,000-seat stadium, was the park's centerpiece. Estrella, a 19-foot female orca captured off Iceland in 1999, was the star, known for her precise movements and reliable temperament. Her primary trainer, Rebecca Torres, had worked with her for 6 years, perfecting a repertoire that drew crowds. Rebecca, from Buenos Aires, Argentina, grew up rehabilitating wildlife with her veterinarian father. After earning a marine biology degree, she worked with dolphins before joining Mediterranean Marine World in 2001. At 29, she was one of Europe's most respected orca trainers, known for her focus on behavior and safety. In December 2006, the park added Mato, a 21-foot male orca from France's Marineland, accompanied by his trainer, Michael Weber. A 34-year-old from Hamburg, Michael brought 13 years of experience, his passion rooted in childhood aquarium visits and a marine biology degree from the University of Kiel. The integration of Estrella and Mato was meticulously planned. For 6 months, they were introduced through adjacent pools, then shared pool time under supervision, showing positive social behaviors. By March 2007, they performed flawlessly in training, prompting the debut of a combined show. On March 15, a final 7:00 a.m. rehearsal went perfectly, synchronized breaches and tail slaps executed with precision. The stadium's acoustics, water quality, and emergency equipment were checked, and Rebecca and Michael reviewed their positions, confident in months of preparation. At 11:30 a.m., 2,000 spectators filled the stadium, cheering as Estrella and Mato glided into the pool. The first segment showcased their individual strengths, Estrella's aerial displays and Mato's powerful breaches proceeding smoothly. At 11:47 a.m., during a synchronized swim, both trainers entered the water. Rebecca positioned herself near Estrella's dorsal fin, while Michael prepared to join Mato. The routine required precise spacing, but disaster struck. Mato deviated, positioning himself between Estrella and Rebecca, a dominance display in the wild. In the confined pool, it triggered chaos. Estrella, interpreting this as a territorial challenge, charged Mato with unexpected speed. Rebecca, caught between them, had no time to react. Estrella seized her leg, while Mato, likely responding to the aggression, grabbed Michael's torso. For 4 horrifying minutes, The water churned red as both orcas dragged the trainers under. The crowd screamed as emergency teams rushed in. Senior Safety Coordinator Carlos Mendoza activated lift floors, and staff deployed nets and poles, but the orca's aggression intensified. Estreller repeatedly took Rebecca to the bottom, releasing her only to seize her again. Mato thrashed Michael with devastating force. At 11:52 a.m., divers pulled Rebecca from the water, but severe trauma and drowning proved fatal. Michael, extracted a minute later, was rushed to Hospital Lief, where doctors fought for 2 hours. He succumbed at 1:15 p.m. The investigation revealed oversights in understanding orca social dynamics during high-energy shows. The live performances, atmosphere acoustics, audience energy, and complex choreography altered their behavior, overriding training. Mediterranean Marine World suspended orca performances, transferring Estrella to a sanctuary in Norway and Mato to a rehabilitation center in Iceland. The stadium became a marine education center with a memorial plaque honoring Rebecca and Michael. If you enjoy this video, please like, subscribe, comment, and share this video with a friend. See you in the next video.